new hooks, new tracks, new tools, new gas. You fools should move back. Original, boom bap, mystery school rap. Within the Pythagorean harmonics crowds, I move that. Who's that? The one that rocks this mic and 1,000 others. For further evidence, you can check this very album cover. I'm about to smother the ignorance out you motherfuckers. You sleeping on this teacher? Let me get you out them covers. No time for sleeping, no joking, stay awoken. African drums still beat when the stick's broken. I'm floating, mind open, chakras glowing. I realize the all-seeing being is all-knowing. Heart clean, no interruption, chi flowing. From heaven we came from, so to heaven we going. We the first agriculturists, we reap what we sowing. Know who you are, not just what the TV's showing. I came to find you, we're the gods. I came to remind you, we're the gods. Don't let them blind you, we're the gods. The truth is inside you, we're the gods. Grow up, feed the needy, avoid the greedy. No one but us look like Akhenaten and Nefertiti. Not the painted bust of Nefertiti, but the Nefertiti on the temple wall seen by all in ancient graffiti. Heed me, 33 years ago, God freed me. Then she said she need me to spit the truth for her weekly, freely. Easy, open mics, now don't tease me. My face gets sweaty, palms get all greasy. I start flashing shit, all you see is feces. Written shit, spitting shit, KRS a different species. This boy beastie, he's slow and he's slow. That is the tempo, when you know, you know. Rappers come and go, always claim they run the show, till they feel that thunder blow. Straight from the mother flow, gutter flow. They spit bullshit, I spit the other flow. But bullshit's a fertilizer, maybe to help these brothers grow, I don't know. I came to find you, we're the gods. I came to remind you, we're the gods. Don't let them blind you, we're the gods. The truth is inside you, we're the gods. Queen mother, wake up. King father, wake up. You sleeping on this teaching? It's you I gotta shake up. Wake 'em up, we the return of the Christ. Christ is not a man, it's a symbol of a community brought back to life. They got you looking for a red or white or blue savior, but here comes the black savior, Krishna, gat blazer. Tongue sharp like that razor, original rap flavor. I speak in general terms cause I'm that major. Still got the pager privately, don't lie to me. God is the Motorola mobilizing inside of me. My sheep know my voice and stay choicing and flock to me. When knowledge reigns supreme, ignorance you not gon' see. Unite with me, and I'll unite with you. Don't fight with me, and I won't fight with you. Establish law, that's what we gotta do. The future's depending on us, maybe this is not for you. I came to find you, we're the gods. I came to remind you, we're the gods. Don't let them blind you, we're the gods. The truth is inside you, we're the gods.
Haru and the horizon. We're talking about the largest colossal on the planet Earth. No colossal on the planet Earth exceeds the size nor the time of this colossal right here. You can only imagine the ages gone by. All that Ra Horm Akhet has seen is called space. This is not the space. This is Horm Akhet. Ra Horm Akhet. Horm Akhet in the horizon. We're talking about over 65 feet high. That means his ears are over 6 feet tall. That means you can stand inside of his ears. To give you an idea of this colossal. Look at his jaw, that prognostic jaw. When Count Boley came here and saw this colossal and gave the write-up and said, anyone looking up at this colossal can clearly see this is a European. Clearly in his book, Ruins of the Empire, he wrote that this is an African colossal. It's built by the great Shemsu Haru from pre-dynastic times. Now, Baron Vivian Dinan was with a man named Napoleon Frenchman who came here from France in 1798 equally had to look up at this colossus. According to Baron Vivian Dunant, it was Napoleon who lined up 21 cannons and he blew his nose off. This is where we get the 21 gun salute. This had nothing to do with the Mamelukes because the Mamelukes did not have cannons. Now, if you understand how old it is, the 18th dynasty. How many of us know the 18th dynasty? How far back is that? Okay, over 3,500 years ago, right? Okay. Now, that dream stela that's put down there by Menkaperat Tahuti Mase IV, it tells about how he fell asleep with Ra Horm Akhet. Came to him in the sleep when Menkaperat Tahuti Mase IV fell asleep. He said, dig me from the sand. So over 3,500 years ago, he was already buried in sand up to his neck. He said, if you dig me out of the sand, I will make you the next king. He dug him out of the sand. Come in close like this, because then other people can go right past instead of coming through the group. Come in close. Make a passage around so that others can go around. Ramesu. Nobody's paying attention. We got to let them to go around. Okay. As we, throughout the duration of this tour, we get in tight quarters, come in close so others will not have to walk straight through us. Okay? And splitting us up. The dividing is causing the split. But as I said, that dream stela that was put there by Menkaperat Tahuti Mase IV, and Horm Akhet came to him and said, if you dig the sand from me, I will make you the next sultan or king. He dug the sand from him and he became the next king. That tells us this was already an old colossal, buried in sand up to his neck even during his time. So when Napoleon came in 1798, he equally was covered in sand during his time. Now, of course, we see his postiche. That's his divine beard that's now presently in the British Museum. The uraeus, many said the uraeus is in the British Museum cellar. We don't know. We have not seen the uraeus. That's the cobra that's placed on top of his head. And many have plundered. Some have even tried to plunder inside. You can see the gash in the back of his Nimbus crown. That was done by Europeans when they were coming here during the colonial period and plundering through all these colossals, trying to find treasures. But this was a rites of initiation where kings had to take the initiation as they had to come up between the paws of Ra Horm Akhet, where one was raised from the Grand Master's grip of the lion's paw. He's looking to the east from the dawn of time. Now, many have tried to say that this is Khafra, okay, of the 4th dynastic period. The only indication that this is Khafra is a glyph on the dream stela that says Khaf. That's it. But now many are saying that this colossal may go back further than the 4th dynastic period, over 4,000 years ago, possibly to the Badarian age. That's over 7,000 years BCE. But he's looking to the east because Ra rises in the east and the constellation of Leo the lion. But we have come back here to look up at the greatest ancestor on the planet Earth. We come from many places. We've come from South Africa, is that right? Is South Africa in the house? Brothers traveled down the whole 4,200 miles of the Nile, already on the continent, came up to the northeast corner. Some of us came from England, is that right? No representation, huh? Some of us came from Canada, is that right? Some of us came from the Caribbean, is that right? Ooh. Some of us came all over the U.S., is that right?
Yeah!
For what purpose did we come? To know ourselves. So just like Asar was cut up into 14 pieces and scattered throughout the land, there was a Set through her holy womb. Her womb who reconstructed and put him back together again. That's what we are doing. We've been scattered throughout the world. And although we're coming from different parts of the world, we're coming together for one purpose and one objective. And that is to know thyself. That's what it's all about. So we are honored that you've come from so many places for the purpose of learning who we are. As I said before, and I'll say it again, we'll travel around and we will not see us because we've been taught to stay away from us. That's a shame. If we can take my brother right here, you can stand right by Horm Ackett, about right here where my arm is, and look to the east. Stand on the other side of the brother with the white hat on. Okay, go over there a little closer.
Don't fall
Just
off.
don't fall off.
Don't
Don't fall off.
Please don't fall off.
Make sure, right there, that's good enough. Okay, now look straight up, look straight to the east. Now you got a shot of the same profile. That means the gene is still passing on. Ra Horm Ackett, Haru and the horizon. That's what we're looking at here. So Count Boney was... One of the things that recently happened in the United States I want to bring to your attention, those of you who have gone to Las Vegas, Nevada, have recently witnessed where they have built a replica, or tried to build a replica of Horm Ackett, one of the most ancient colossals, not only built right here on the African continent, but the most ancient colossal on the planet Earth. And they made him with blue eyes and white skin. And not one word is said that this is an African architectural structure. And even put a pyramid, and they even have Tut's hut. So the sad thing is that people from all over the world go here, and not one word is mentioned that this is an African architectural structure. Not one word is mentioned that this belongs to African people. And the sad thing is that many Africans who go there and spend their money don't even realize it themselves. And the rooms are called Tut's hut. As Dr. John Henry Clark, another Grand Master teacher of ours, would say, that which is sacred to us has been desecrated. And not only has it been desecrated, but we have been taught to laugh at its desecration. That's a shame. All people who are a people must preserve their ancient sites. For us to be a people, we must have something that is ancient that belongs to us. So when you look up at the face of Horm Ackett, you can see where Napoleon, who came here in 1798 and had 21 cannon, his generals, line up 21 cannons and blow the nose off. And George Washington, who was part of the Illuminati, Benjamin Franklin, and Andrew Jackson. That's why they named Memphis, Tennessee, off of Memphis, where we're going in a few minutes, trying to design from the Grand Masters. So they know they were stealing the people from the African continent and stealing the knowledge as well. So let's go up on the high wall and see more of Horm Ackett and deal more in depth with the history, the true history of this Grand Master who came up out of pre-dynastic Egypt. Not the 4th dynasty, but pre-dynastic, who was part of the real Horus king, who was deified as a god. The first deification as God as a man.
Tell it like it is, man.
Horm Ackett.
This is something to behold.
Oh, your trip, it hasn't even begun yet.
I know. I'm
And
just
went to
overwhelmed.
America and brainwashed the people to death.
Well, they had.
Well, how do you keep a people slaves?
That's right.
You got to take away their story. You got to take away what is sacred to them, and then you desecrate it.
And they
So brothers and sisters, you're at one of the most spectacular sites right here, and that is Horm Ackett, who the Greeks call the Sphinx. Over 240 feet long and over 65 feet high. Keep in mind, if you look at his ears, 6 feet tall, that means you can stand inside of his ears. Look how massive this colossal is. Standing here from the dawn of time, who the Arabs call him Abu Hal, or meaning the Great Father. And truly the Great Father of time. And now, through documentation and excavations, some have even documented that Horm Ackett may go back to the time of the Badarian Age. Reconstruction have taken place down through the ages. Many European Egyptologists have said that this is Khafra of the 4th dynastic period. But if you look at the prognathous jaw, he looks nothing like Khafra. Let's go and see, as I said, in pre-dynastic times, representing the Shimsu Haru, let's go back and see who Horm Ackett goes back to. With a little Twa, who our ancestors, even known as the Sebenetos, who was during that time of the pre-dynastic period known as the Twa, and even Bes. That's where you see his origins go back to, who the Africans built this. So here we have all proof
and documentation of where the origin of Hormaki, and all who comes before him, like the Europeans you see here, have to look up at this and see the beginning when Napoleon was documented in Los Angeles Times, that when Napoleon visited the Sphinx in 1798, everything but the head had been buried in sand, although his soldiers reputedly used the head for target practice. But we know it's a new day today, and it's the first day today. So you may not grasp where you have been until you go back and lay your eyes down and Hormaki come into your sleep. When Hormaki digs deep down into your what they call REM sleep and come up and said, you came back to visit me. But here where the kings came between the paw, where you get the Grand Master's grip of the
Holy Royal Family #1.
Check my DNA. We're related down the line some way.
Look and contemplate. Look and meditate. Look and see. Look and enjoy. No one in planet Earth like that. No one, no place in planet Earth like that. In spite of the time of technology, revolution of technology, but no temple like that in planet Earth. No statue is great like this in planet Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, very important to know that this temple done here by Wasser Ma'at Re, Seti bin Re, Ramses Miri Amon, the and Jet, may he give life forever, to insist that this part here is a part of Egypt, a part of Nubia. And he had to protect it under the borders of Egypt. It's a part from Kemet. The temple here dated back to 19th dynasty, around 1100 before Christ nearly. This temple in the front of you was in the back view, 60 meters down. The local place, the location of this place now underwater and saved by UNESCO after the construction of the high dam. You can see here when you look, the two statues on the right side, two statues on the left side. In between, you can see Rahurakti. Rahurakti is the god of the horizon, or Horus who are in the horizon. And you can see on both sides your own beloved one, Wasser Ma'at Re, Seti bin Re, Ramses Miri Amon, adoring and worshipping the god Rahurakti in both hands. While you can see the kids and the royal family, that's you, near the statues of the King Ramses II, completely protecting you as he now smiling to you, saluting you, respecting you, greetings you. Say, oh my sons, you came from thousands of miles to come and see me, and I am happy to let you see, and my spirit fluttering on you and the head of each one of you.
Yes, sir. Big.
You can see the power of the king. You can see on the last part of the leg, the right leg of the statue, the last one, you can see the text there like a stela. This text, the marriage, the contract of the marriage of the King Ramses II from the daughter of the Hittites. When the Hittites king defeated by Ramesu, what's happened? He realized his power. He realized how strong he is. Please, can you marry my daughter? Please, can we have a good relationship? Please, can we have a new section of life, a new life? No wars. Then Ramses II agreed. And he married the elder daughter of Shablul-Yuma, as the name of the king of the Hittites of the time. To show you, when you are strong, all the others bending in respect for you. When you love each other, when you cooperate with each other, when you are one hand, everybody had to respect and love and like you when you are strong. But when you fight against each other, no one looking to you. That's my main advice to you, to cooperate and love each other. That's the main point, to get the African power and everywhere you are, even in the States. And I ask you from my heart, please, ask your friends, ask your relatives, ask your neighbors to come and see the greatness here. Not to go to Europe, not to go to Caribbean, not to go anywhere else, only here. Not to go to Asia, not to go to China, but coming to Nubian area to feel how great they are. Okay? And inside we have the first colonnade hall where the battlefield itself represented and well represented the fights between Egyptians and the Hittites, and how the Hittites people lifting their hands up looking for mercy, looking for breath of life in front of the King Ramses the Great and the god Amun-Re, the god of invisibility. Inside the last shrine, the last chapel, that's called Hajj or Yusru, the sanctuary, you can see 4 statues. 4 statues for 4 Egyptian gods. One of them, number 2, is the statue of the king Ramessu. And the sun comes directly in the 22 of February and 22 of October from the mountain there, only to cover the statue of Ramses II in his coronation and in his birthday. Twice a year, only the statue of Ramses II. What it means? It means you are the pioneers of astrology and astronomy. The sun comes direct only to the statue of the king Ramses II. Well, very well done calculated. Very well done calculated. I say very well done calculated. Unless you have on this special time and special place the sun only reflected. 22 February, 22 of October. All the colors inside original, never been retouched or repainted. We have, this is the temple of Abu Simbel and their temple of his wife Nefertari. Compared herself like Hathor, like the goddess Hathor, the goddess of love and music and joy. And this temple there in a very good condition. Start by an entrance leading us to the corridor and leading us to Colonnade Hall, and from the Colonnade Hall we have in the end in the sanctuary where the goddess Hathor represented and the queen Nefertari in all the walls represented there and venerated. Hotep, everybody. Hotep.
Okay, give thanks to, by the way, filling in those details for us. But other details, it has to be recognized as well, and that is the soup type that Ursa Ma'at Ra September Ra Mr. Mori Ahmed also wanted to acknowledge. So at the top of the facade, you see 24 baboons. Why are those 24 baboons up there? Because he's giving praise to the rising of Ra. Representing the 24 hours of the day, he becomes a personification of Ra, a rock day that you see in the middle of the facade of the temple. You see Ma'at, Ursa Ma'at Ra September Ra Mr. Mori Ahmed giving Ma'at in the middle of the facade to Ursa Ma'at Ra September Ra Mr. Mori Ahmed. And as by the way said, the reason again we got the 24 baboons is because on October 22nd and February 22nd, Ra rises at that exact time all the way in the back of the Mount Manu, 200 feet back, as he said, shining up who? Pt2, Amen, Ra-Harakte, Ramessu, and Ra-Harakte. Okay, those 4. But the sun does not shine on Pt2. Why? Because Pt2 is the architect of the universe. Okay? As they're coming out of the darkness, he's the one who says, let there be light. When you go inside, on one side of the wall, you're going to see the Ta-Nehisi, Nubians. The other side, you're going to see the Hittites. Many guys will tell you, when you look at the Ta-Nehisi or Nubians, they'll say these are slaves. When in fact, they are captives of war when we had our own civil war. And the Hittites are captives of war as well. Also, take a look at the Semitawi that we equally have been seeing on all the monuments. Okay, in a personification of the form of the Hermaphrodite. The Hermaphrodite being represented as what? Happy now. Why the Hermaphrodite form? Because the now represents what? Happy, as our ancestors called it, represents what? Mother, Father, God. Okay? Mother, Father, because the now is the fallopian tube, giving us life, as we see right here. This facade is over 100 feet tall. The colossal statues are 65 feet tall, brothers and sisters. The one that has fallen down, they say it was due to an earthquake, but we understand the plunders have taken place here. We got to ask the question if that is really the case. Or Belzoni, did he try to snatch down one of these statues and carry it to England like he's done many of the other statues? This whole facade had to be restructured. It was originally 200 feet down in what is now Lake Nasser. They had to reconstruct this whole monument, set it up 200 feet, and set it back 600 feet, where it's presently at today. So let's go up, and before we go inside, and as I said at the beginning of the trip, everybody would be able to say Ursa Ma'at Rasam Tepin Rabba Mr. Murray Ahmed, and here he is, the Grand Master, sitting on his Haru Horus throne. So I want to point out his name the last time inside of his Shanu before we go inside.
Very important, no inside, no flash. Don't use the flash. No flash inside.
Wait a minute, there's no pictures.
No photos.
They changed it, no photos.
No pictures inside.
Yeah, no photos.
No photos at
That's
all.
why I had to show you what the temple looked like inside. So there's no photos. You don't want your cameras
Yeah.
confiscated.
Dang, no photos, man.
What about camera? 24 hours, brother.
It's messed up. That's like the same thing that happened when we went to the Cairo Museum. You see all these African figures, all these black African figures, all there, and 4-some thousand years old. You can't take any pictures of them. So it's like if you really want to see what's going on, you got to come out here and see it for yourself. So book your tickets. Let's get it in.
Can the group come right here? Everybody come in here. People just take stuff and just throw any kind of stuff out there. There has no historical documentation whatsoever, just because they have a religious belief and they want to take their religious belief to validate, some kind of beginning. We have a great African Moorish history, but you can't start that history at the beginning of time. We had a great African Muslim period, with Songhai and Mali, Timbuktu and the libraries there, and Sankore. But you can't take that and put it in the beginning of time, because somebody has some kind of religious fanatical objective. Hotel. Over here. Everybody over here. Those of you here are here. I want you to respond to all the others. Don't need to know it. They're not really here because they're not in front. Or not paying attention. Okay. You see the name for Kemet? Remember before? Yes. Kemet. K-M-T. Put the vowels in it. It's Kemet. Okay, can we see that right here? Yes. Meaning black. So Ursa Ma'at Ra is putting the black land. Kemet Ta, black land. Kemet Nu, black people. All right? His royal name. Ursa Ma'at Ra. Septepen Ra. Ra Mesu Murray Amen. Translation, the power of Ma'at, under God. Septepen Ra. Chosen by God. Ra Mesu. Ra Mes. Ra Mes. He's born of Ra. Murray Amen, he's loved by Amen. This is where we get God's chosen children from. Out of Ursa Ma'at Ra Septepen Ra's name. You are God's chosen children. Ra has kissed you from the dawn of time, giving you melanin. We were chosen to be on the planet first. That's why Ursa Ma'at Ra used Septepen Ra. He's chosen by Ra. This is the Nepti. The Nepti is a symbol that represented that spiritual dialectical laws of opposites. It represented Set and Haru, the balance, because the king had to have the balance of having the Set powers as well as the Haru powers. So it was the Nepti. Also it was known as Nubi, the land of gold, where we are right now. So it had an exoteric as well as esoteric interpretation on it, as we see right here. Also, this symbol means Murray. When we say love, this is the symbol for love. It represented the plow of the earth because the gay of earth gives us life, So it's a love that we use. We didn't call it love today. As we call it today, we call it Murray. So this is Murray Ma'at, the love of truth, justice, and righteousness, By the way, you may want to fill in some other details before we go in on some of the things I may have missed.
Very important, you can see the top here. Hor Ra, Horus, and the sun. Nacht, the victorious ones. Who is that? This is a title for the king, Ramses II. Mary Mac. Mary Mac. Again, Mary Mac. Why Mary Mac? The one who loved justice. And as you know, justice very important and is a part of the life of the king, and always justice completely as a blood running in your blood, running in your DNA, in genetics, generation after generation. You loved justice. That's why you always singing, no justice, no peace. No peace. That's right. That's absolutely correct. And here the falcon here is Heru. Heru here means a reference to Ramses the Great or Ramses II. All the statues, the figures of Heru, that's Ramses II in the form of Horus. Looking to you, saluting you, embracing you, flanking you, saying, welcome to you, my sons. Okay? Hotel.
There's one other thing that I missed. That's why it takes both of us to go back and forth. The main symbol up here is the symbol of the Raharakte. It means what? The Burgett. Thyself. And that's why we call the tour Kemet Nu, Black People Know Thyself. The longest journey that you've ever taken, and that is the journey into yourself. Hotel.
No pictures inside. No pictures. No camera inside. We are the people who love this place.
Yes, sir.
We actually came here first, and I'm glad we did today. Generally, by the time we get here from Abydos, it's extremely hot. Okay, so now you can also feel why we got up here early. Now, of course, this area, the indigenous name of this area is called Init Neter. Okay, it is now called Dendera. And as, by the way, mentioned to you the other day, that these are not Greek temples. Okay, during the time the Ptolemies usurped the throne of ancient Kemet, they got African artisans, Kemetic artisans, to build temples for them. You're going to see in various places where the Shanus are blank, where the priests, the Karihabs, did not leave their names there. But we can go back to a time period of Menkaparat Tahuti Mays of the 18th dynastic period. And here's a crypt here talking about the Shimsu Haru. The Shimsu Haru go back to a pre-dynastic time. They talk about a presence of a temple here. It also is speaking of a time of Menkaparat Tahuti Mays III, okay, when the temple was here. So during the time of the usurpers, we're talking about the Ptolemies, they came and built onto the temple, okay? But they themselves did not build, but they got the African priests to build for them. All the spiritual deities that are on these temples are not Greek deities. These are African Kemetic deities on these particular temples. So just like time going by in previous ages, okay, everybody built onto the temple, just like you saw at Pt2 or Karnak. And the last pylon on there being Taharka, and some of the earliest going back to the Middle Kingdom. But in these other temples, you can see during the time of the Ptolemies coming in and getting the African priests to build onto them. And this one dedicated to the surrogate mother of Hassar, and that is Hathor or Het-Heru. And we see her cow's ears symbolizing the cow, because the cow is the great Mother Earth. It feeds from the earth. This is the same cow that's also worshipped in India, because that knowledge was taken to India. By the way, he'll give us a few words on the temple, and then we'll go around to the back to deal with the person that most of us know. If we don't know nobody else in Egypt, most black folks know about Cleopatra.
Only a couple of minutes here. This building to the left side, just right here in the front of us, called the sanatorium. Sanatorium for sick people, for people who have psychological and mental problems. Again, psychological and mental problems. Here. Sanatorium. What about the people who have physic problems? The physic problems, they used to have medical herbs. Medical herbs. What is the medical herbs place called in Medionetic? Bir An, the house of life. Bir Ankh, house of life, we call it now a pharmacy. And what the symbol of the pharmacy here, as you can see in the main gate of the temple, the open papyrus and the copper on the gate here, on the right side and on the left side. Be careful. Here is the place where, the healthy place. Here is the right place. Here is the right air, the good air, and outside is a mal air. So here inside is the Bir Ankh. This is a healthy place. That's why we have the symbol of the pharmacy now, in the right side and on the left side of the gate. Because that's Bir Ankh, the house of life. And later on in the Middle Ages, they used to have medical herbs in a special place here in Egypt called Pt2. And the merchants used to fetch those herbs, medical herbs, to Europeans in south coast of the Mediterranean Sea. You see, the south coast of borders of the Mediterranean Sea for Italy and France. And those Arabs and those Egyptians exactly used to sell those medical herbs to the Europeans and call it, this is from a boutique. A boutique is a place 10 kilometers south of Asyut. And now we have the same word in Deutsch, in Germany. In German language called Apotheke, means a pharmacy. The favor for whom? For you, who taught all the world how to live and how to be a healthy people. When I say, know thyself, I mean what I say. When I say, you are the masters, I mean what I say. 100%, no doubt. And I say this from my heart to you, honestly. You are the masters of the world, who taught all the world how to live in a right way. You, from Thebes, from Africa, you sent 6,000 soldiers and officers to Europe to know how they wash their hands and how to clean themselves. And now you say African people have no civilization. Who has no civilization? They, not us. Honestly. Come on, please, inside.
1 second. By the way, did say one thing I think is key. Know thyself. And what is the symbol for know thyself? Is the Bredet. It's always over the temple that you see all the way up in the Suddis wings. This is the symbol you saw in Malachi when I was reading from the verse in the Bible. Okay? That the S-U-N, sun, okay, of righteousness, okay, flying with the wings of Ra, as you see here. That is the symbol of know thyself. This is a form of Aru transforming into the sun disk wing when he defeated Set. And we can see that he called the little Twa, okay, to cool out Ra, okay, when Ra was trying to flood man out. And we'll deal with that when we get into a Set, the whole story of the world's first flood story, okay, was Ra flooding out man because of his evil deeds. And God had Heru that you see right here to flood him out through her menstrual cycle. And the patriarchs who hated that story, all of a sudden the menstrual cycle became the sign to the woman because Eve ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And then that became something bad when originally, the original story was man and his evil deeds. Okay, so we'll deal with that later. But that is the sign of know thyself, the sun disk wing. We'll go in the back.
Okay, look at the Google, Theban troop, open this gate. In Google, you see that African people sent 6,000 soldiers to Europe to clean themselves, to clean the Europeans, to teach the Europeans how to clean themselves, how to wash their face and hands. 6,000 people from Luxor.
You think of Pharaoh, brothers and sisters? That's a Hebrew word, came from Per'ah. Okay? It's the house of the king. Per'ah. That's what you see right here. Per'ah. That now we refer to as Pharaoh.
Goodness.
May I have your attention, please? Now you are in the first colonnade hall. After we pass the open courtyard, we have here the colonnade hall. In this colonnade hall, you can see the columns having the faces of the goddess Hathor in 4 main corners. It means the inhabitants of this area going to worship Hathor in all directions they are. And in the same time, you can see the falcon. The female falcon up there as decoration elements in heaven. And you can see the stars. Why the stars? Again, why we have the stars up? Because this symbol in hieroglyphics means Pt2, heaven on earth. Is apart from heaven. That's why even the columns here you can see the stars. Stars everywhere. This is the holy place. That's heaven on earth. You have to meditate. You come here to meditate. The same idea stolen nowadays. Why you go to the church, why you go to the Jewish temple, why you go to the Islamic mosque? To get salvation. Here, this idea for salvation used to be done by your own ancestors inside the temples. All what you have it now, originally having roots in the history here. And that's here, 23 different crowns. See the crowns in the middle of second column? Look at my finger here up. The crown. We have here the 8th crown for coronation and recoronation. We have in the first line, in the down here, the crown of Lower Egypt, the crown of Upper Egypt, then the crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, the unified one. You can see also in the third line in the middle, the mask of Tutankhamun. You can see in the third line in the middle, the bloom, the 2 blooms. The king wearing the crown of 2 blooms. He means justice. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, why the ancient Egyptian civilization continued 3,000 years? Because they used justice. The king was a fair one, justful person. He loved justice. Number 2, why the ancient pharaonic civilization continued 3,000 years before Christ? Because they participated, Eve. Eve was a great value. She was a great value. Woman was a great value. That's why women got a high rank, a high position in the pharaonic history, in African civilization, called Nebbet, the mistress of the house, the director of the house, the manager of the house. Equals him like a man. Thousands of years before Simone de Beauvoir came on board. That's the human rights by African people in ancient times. That's your legacy. I mean, that's your culture. That's your civilization, who spread all over the world now. And we as Africans, we don't know. We don't know how great we are unless we look for knowledge and read and look to the people who teach us in lectures, not only here, even in the States. You look for any lecture for Dr. Ashraf or Dr. Ben or so and so, those real people who loved African history. You go and listen. Unless you go there and listen, you're not going to know yourself. Honestly. Every inch in this part colored and decorated. Some of the colors still up till now in a very good condition. Even in the columns you can see Ankh-Nepoasti, vive the king of Egypt, even here and there. Everywhere you go to the Philae, you go to Temple of Edfu, go to Temple of Komombo. A lot of temples having this symbol to welcome the arrival of the king. Very important to know that. Please come on, sir. Professor.
Tap.
As you can see in the ceiling of this great temple here at Enet Neter, the beautiful details of the Medu Neter, as we said, the sacred language of the deity that we call God today. also divine speech. Now look at the top, you see a constellation all the way at the top at the ceiling. Now this is not the one we're going to see upstairs, but I'm showing you how, as we talked yesterday, the constellation is everywhere. Notice the little lines, looks like water. See the water? Now look at the other end to my far right, or possibly to your left, depending on how you're standing. See the face of Newt down there? Okay, with the symbol of the burdette coming out of her mouth? Okay, speaking of knowing thyself. Knowing thyself, why is that water? Because that water is what?
The heavens.
It's the heavens. But it's also what? What else? Come on, sisters, what's the water? Amniotic fluid. The fluid of life flowing through her body. Look. Now, all the way down at the other end, you see the symbol of what? Keparah. Self-creation is coming. Creation, procreation, and renewal. So here she is, the heavens of the universe. She's controlling the whole cosmic order. Here our ancestors called this as the Zep Tepi, the earliest creation, Memphite theology. Here, African man, this is how you deified the African woman at one time. Now we have lost our mind. We've lost our mind and taken over an alien system. That's the reason why we have problems in our relationship now. Because we do not understand a divine order, a divine balance. Newt stretched across, she's become one with the cosmic order. She's giving birth to the S-U-N sun like our mothers give birth to the S-O-N sun. Here you see the bolts of the constellation flowing through her body. As I said, the human body is like a micro-universe. She is the macro-universe. She's displayed everywhere. No matter where you see her, she's represented as the heavens itself. Now, I know this is hard for some brothers to comprehend it. I know because of the Western world, we become misogynistic, okay, like some of the barbarians, okay, in some cases like our slave masters. We become to think like them, okay, in relationship with the feminine principle. We don't understand that divine balance any longer. But if we're truly talking about real revolution, if you haven't gotten that balance and understanding that whole goddess principle yet, you're not doing nothing but doing a lot of talk. Okay? This is what you're going to see where it's going back to. And let's go up into the temple and see some other things in here. And the campfires, the soot went up to the ceiling. And that's what caused the ceiling to look like that. So that's what they're doing with these scaffolds. They're cleaning the soot from the Romans during the time when they used to camp out in here and make campfires. And now on this side, you're going to be able to see how the ceiling originally looked before they started to clean it on this side. So you see they did a lot of cleaning on this side. These columns did not look how clean that looks. Okay? So you're looking on this side, they're doing all the cleaning. So when you come in here, you'll see how dark it looks from the Romans. But they set up campfires here. This is how that side used to look. Look up in the ceiling.
Wow. Savages.
Yeah, savage. See? The Roman armies came in here and set up camp, and the fires. From the fires, as we call it up, all the beautiful reliefs and everything. This is where they camped out at. When I talked about some of the Chinooks were blank.
Before going to the shrine of the ascending the throne and having communion with the goddess Nut, we have to know that this place here, that's this shrine, used for putting the offerings. And the other shrine here, called the Shrine of the Gods, the 9 gods. And the last section there, that's the sanctuary. That's called in hieroglyphics Jisr Jisiru. the sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, Jisr Jisru, or Hajj. Hajj means light, light, because always the statue of the goddess was here, giving light. Light, because you know the light is very important. The light came from the God, and the sun is light. Justice is light. Fact is a light. All that's connected with the light. So we have the hall of offerings, the hall of the gods, and the Jisr Jisru, or the sanctuary. We pay as Africans plenty of respect to the sanctuary, because our forefathers in ancient times said this is only get by the king and the high priest. The Europeans sometimes get inside, and a lot of times, not sometimes, always they get inside. They know nothing about that. And don't concern that. That's not concern them, but concern us as African culture. Yes, Professor.
Who brought their book with them, The African Builders of Civilization? Anybody bring it on? Okay, we go to Abydos. I don't need it now, but we go to Abydos. Can I borrow it to deal with the King's List? Not now, but Abydos. So if when you get off the bus in Abydos, can you bring it with you? We kind of shift this way we get a direct view of the temple. All right, Hotep, brothers and sisters.
Hotep.
Here you're at the great temple of Haru, who the Greeks call Horus. And like many of the other temples, they equally had its spiritual significance, just like this one did as well. When you were at Dandara, that was a procession that took place from there all the way down to here, and carrying the ark, where the two united together, that is Haru and also Het Heru. Now, this whole area, even in our time, of Maryronite, our time coming here, this was all dug out. Even in our time, we used to enter from the back, from here. We never got a full view of the temple like this here. This was all covered in a high hill and villages and so forth. But many people always ask, where is the symbol of Know Thyself on the temple? It's right in the middle of the akat of the temple. It is the Berdet itself. See the Berdet?
Yeah.
In the middle of the temple?
Mm-hmm.
That is the symbol of Know Thyself. This is the this is the area where the great battle took place of Haru and also Set. As I showed you in the beginning of the presentation, those two ancient cities of Nekheb and Nekhem. And it is here the story is told that Haru was formed into the sun disk wing and the defeating of Set in that great battle. And that was represented from then on out as the temple over in the middle of the temple, that great Berdet or sun disk wings that you see right here, showing knowing thyself, showing the power of self to defeating evil, as Haru did in this particular case with Set, when during the Shimsu Haru kings were fighting at this time. But as I said before, and I will continue to say, that was not a total defeat of Set, because it had to create an equilibrium with that force of Set. Not the complete destroying of Set, because we all need some Set to offset adversity, to offset evil, but it must be balanced. It cannot go to the extreme. That means once you start fighting, you got to find yourself back to a middle. You cannot fight for eternity, okay? Just be the destruction of yourself. So when we think of Know Thyself, that is the Berdet itself over the temple. As you enter the entryway of the temple, and the whole facade of the temple is called the Akat. Looking at the middle, Ra symbolically rising in the middle of the temple, and we see today and yesterday. A Masonic symbol is still used by the Masonic order with two eagles. I don't know if those of you have seen them on the back of cars, facing in different directions. That comes from the Akat. Please give, by the way, your undivided attention as he filled in the details in regards to this temple.
Hotep!
Hotep!
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the main facade for the temple of Pt2, which dated back to the Greek-Roman period. Again, done by Egyptian technology, but
let me correct there, because we have to keep mindful of the fact that the Shimsu Haru And all of the temple was built, they built on top of existing temples.
Yes.
I remember when I came in here
Yeah.
in 1981 and Mt. a piece of his head was sitting right in the middle of
That's right.
the floor there.
That's right.
So the usurpers just built on to what was already here. So we got
Absolutely right.
keep that clear.
Absolutely right. Then here, why this place done? Because as the professor said, that's where the god Heru got victory against evil. And this area called also in hieroglyphics Pt2. Pt2 means the land of spear, the speared land. When Horus spreading the evil, killing evil, stop evil. And you can see the two statues in front. That's the two figures, the two statues of the god Heru. Each statue of those one single piece of granite brought from Aswan quarries. The temple here dated back to 237 before Christ till 57 before Christ. It's absolutely Ptolemaic time, because the Greek period start in 30 BC. I mean the Roman period start in 30 BC after the defeat of Cleopatra. That's finished 27 years before the Roman period. That's very important point. I would like to declare it for you, to explain it for you. Okay, we'll go move inside to see the representations and the reliefs inside.
So you'll have to see it when you come by, when you walk by. But I'll point it out to you so you'll know exactly where it's at. When we dealt with the lecture the other day, I was dealing with the dancing ka, okay, or the dancing spirit. It was during a time when the metamorphosis of the body took place, and they mummified the body. This was called the caressing of the body, that later became the Christ. Even though the Romans didn't understand it, it was about a spiritual body. Although the spiritual body had to resurrect. So as in the spiritual life or the afterlife, the body is no longer in the bandages, okay? And they're using the human form to show the symbolic of the resurrecting. So the spirit is free. The Sahu, the spiritual body, is free, so it's dancing because it's no longer in the bandages anymore. It's going through a metamorphosis. It's going through a resurrection. It's called the dancing ka. This is the dancing ka. 2 arms up, 1 leg down. Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and other European Christian artists took this idea directly from here and then named the Serapis Jesus the Dancing Christ. That came from the dancing ka. So take a look at it as you pass through as we go through.
Just a second, please. Ladies and gentlemen, very important to know that here is the open courtyard. This open courtyard, when I was the Inspector of Athletics Department here in 1977, I did excavations here and I found out cartouches from Ramses II and Thutmose III just right here. And the columns here completely mixed floral capitals. That's what we call it the Hellenistic civilization, the mixture between Eastern and Western civilization. And that's the first colonnade hall, first open courtyard, I mean. Then we go to the first colonnade hall just right there.
Please, straight up. This has been going as far as Inetneter, now called Dandara today. So the idea of the Ankh-Manu and the holies of the holies, this existed thousands of years before what you know as the Ark of the Covenant. Every temple had an ark, whether it's the Ark of Amun, Ark of Heru, the Ark of Aset. Which ark you want? You got plenty of them.
Here, very important in this first colonnade hall to see 2 important things. Number 1, a small room to the right side, used as a laboratory to make oil perfume. Here. And on the other hand, a catalog for the library and the documents of the temple. The small room just right one on the left side for the documents of the temple. The documents of the temple. Here you can see in hieroglyphics as you saw in Dantera, Ankh-Neb-Wasti, vive the king of Egypt. Here, everywhere you go. That's a lot of welcoming words to welcome the king when the king coming inside. That's the first colonnade hall, and then you can see the second colonnade hall, and you can see the smoke up because the temple burned in the beginning of the Christianity to clear it from bad spirits. And then the sanctuary there with the granite, that's the one before the Greek Roman period. That's the last ruin from the Pharaonic temple done in the beginning, and they destroyed all the Pharaonic temple. Only this one left, only a sanctuary left. So it's two sanctuaries in one. The granite piece is the ancient one, and the whole big one, according to the design of the temple, that's the sanctuary of the temple in the Greek Roman period. Yeah. So we have here two sanctuaries, and this sanctuary again, one single piece of granite brought from Aswan quarries. Rebirth, for the resurrection, for the second life, for the recoronation. Okay, we see inside here the king completely receiving the double crown from the god Horus. You see in the top the goddess Nut, the goddess of heaven, bending like this. Nut, N-U-T, the goddess of heaven. Heaven. And you can see, including the body of heaven, a lot of stars. Of course, we must have stars in heaven. The stars are not in the earth. And the heaven is always holy and sacred. Up till now, we look for heaven, we look for the sky, and ask the heaven, ask the God to give us so and so. So up till now, even in Islam, even in all religions, look for heaven as a sacred place, a holy place. And everybody like to be high. High. You have to be high from all small bad words. You are bigger. You are high. You are high. High in spiritual. High in everything, in your behavior. High. You like the high. Okay? That's very important to know. It's inherited in our genetic generation after generation. That's why even the people who are going to give a speech, you're going to, like me, like this, they're going to be in a high place for the people to know and to see them. As you see heaven. Every inch here colored and decorated. And even in the writings here, we have Vive Ankh-Nebwast, Vive the King of Egypt. Even the room here, the door here, leading to upstairs, it's closed now. You can see in the top is the flanked sun. The flanked sun referring to Horus, the victory of Horus over evil. Nearly all the gates, all the rooms in the top, they have flanked sun in all over Egypt. Why? As a memory, to let the people think about the victory of Horus over evil. And here is the cartouche of Ptolemy. Ptolemy's Anf Jet Bitah Merid. Ptolemy, the one who have eternal life and the lover of Bitah. Even in Greek period, they bending in respect to the Egyptian civilization, using the same titles used by Egyptian kings. Why? Because the influence of those kings and the influence of the civilization was strong enough not to put in the cartouche here in Greek letters, that in Medionetic. And let's think about why not the Greek. We are occupied by the Greeks, but why the Greeks not put the Greek? Because the Egyptian civilization was very strong civilization. They cannot stop it. They cannot stop it. And the people believed this is Medioneter. So Medioneter means the words spoken by the God. No one can stop it. That's why I ask you from my heart to learn this Medioneter, to know this Medioneter. You are not a good African unless you know the Medioneter. know the history, know the hieroglyphics. So you have to study it carefully at home and ask your pupils, ask your children, ask your friends to know. That's the key, to know yourself, to know thyself, how great you are and what kind of realization you got. Very important. Please. Spearing, killing the hippopotamus. Speared it. Yeah, killing the hippo. And the king even here killing the hippo. He speared the hippo. Here, the hippo, which means sick, which means evil, looking and suffering. Look at the hippo, he is small. Later on will be bigger. It means when Horus won victory over evil, evil was strong. And that's the value, that's the meaning of the victory. The big difference between you win victory over a weak one and strong one. So when Horus won the victory, evil was strong. The first defeat you're going to see now, when set upside down. Look at that, everybody. Look at that. The hippo here upside down. Upside down. You see? Suffering. The first defeat for evil. Looks like a play. It looks like a theater. On stage. On same like stage. Here was the first place for the theater before the Greeks. Before Athens. The play was here, the drama was here in Egypt. University for everything, even the drama and the theater. And the music, philosophy, mummification, medicine, agriculture, everything. Here. Here, Africa who taught all the world how to do, how to live, how to treat, how to farm the land. Those informations taken from Africa to the whole world now. Okay? That's the favor the black continent did for all the humanity. Taught the humanity how to deal with the land, how to do the medicine, how to make mummification, how to make the operations. Complete. You can see the stars. The same idea repeated. Seba. Seba means the gate, and that's the gate to the temple. And the gate to heaven. The gate to meditation. The gate to think about the spiritual life and the religion. You're going to concentrate in the worship you do. We call it now meditation. To meditate. And the gate is the way to the temple, the way to the light, the way to the light. As the stars is the way to the light at dawn. The special star appears at dawn, before sunrise. That's the beginning of the light, beginning of the morning, beginning of the birth of Ra. When birth of Ra, when sun god rise again in the morning. Seba, S-B-A. And as I commented 2 days ago saying, Seba also called teacher, because teacher is a gate to knowledge, is the way to knowledge. You can't be a knowledgeable one until you listen to the professor, until you listen to Frau Doctor, until you read your books, until you hear, until you see what's in the TV and so on. That's the way to knowledge. The teacher is the way to knowledge. Even in your childhood, without elementary education, you know nothing. You have to get elementary education. Thank you.
Here is a story carved in stone. I'm going to talk about it, and then we're going to rotate and let everybody take a picture of it as we go back out. But here's the story where a Set feared that Set was going to kill her son Haru, because she feared that he would kill him, because Set feared that Haru would grow up and avenge his father's death. So she hid in the papyrus swamps, right here. This line gives you an indication that this temple was under the water at one time. See the line all the way around? So a lot of these reliefs were covered up. But this is later where we get the story of Moses and the papyrus and the bulrushes. Came from a Set in the papyrus swamps. This is carved in stone right here. Even from the biblical pictures that we get Moses, the Pharaoh's daughter, who pulled Moses from the bulrushes, and even her hair looks just like the biblical pictures that they got Pharaoh's daughter pulling Moses from the bulrushes. So I'm saying that these are the books in stone. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but at least come back here and look at where it started from, and then start your belief system. Have a critical analytical analysis. We've heard everybody else's story. So just take it and put it in a court of law. And then once you put it in a court of law and judge it for yourself and see where the stories originally came from, then at that point you can believe whatever you want to believe, because you got the whole story. All right? So this is where the prototype of these stories came from. And then we see the Tahuti, who gave the spiritual call that was Set was going to have an immaculate conception, that later became Gabriel, the angel of the Lord. And then, of course, we see Amen, who's also giving a Set the breath of life, long before we get the story that Adam got the breath of life. One account after another account of the spiritual story. So how could this be looked at as pagan and heathen when these stories were plagiarized, although corrupted and distorted? But the foundation of all the stories, we can see this is where it came from. So a lot of these stories wouldn't be able to even exist in the Judeo-Christian concepts once we come back here and see the accounts where it came from. So we're going to be dealing with this in the lecture in detail and having a comparative analysis with the pictures once we see it, brothers and sisters, for yourself. So we're going to do a rotation and give respect to the others who are in the back, who they equally wanted to see the picture and take the picture. So even with Jesus, who had to hide from Herod, right? So here we see Haru had to hide from Set. Same story. One account after the other. So he called himself the new Osiris. But again, these temples do not go back to any Ptolemies. That stela that you see right over there is the stela of Taharka of the 25th dynasty. Of the 25th dynastic period, that tells us and gives an indication that the Ptolemies came in and got the African Kemetic artisans and architects to build on top of existing temples that were already here. In a few minutes, we're going to go into the backside and see Nectanebo II, and see how he was chiseled out. He is the last one in your book and the last Sultan to rule on the throne of ancient Kemet. Okay? So again, after Nectanebo, we see that this is where the Persians, the Greeks, the Byzantine Romans, the Arabs, the French, the English, everybody came in after that. Up here on the side here, you'll see the goddess Aset in the form of the Madonna and Child. We'll see her in a couple minutes in the back wall in the Mimizi house. But where we want to go now is up here, quickly. Now we got to move quick because groups are coming in.
That's the most important section here in the back of me. That's the Jisiru. This is Hajj. This is the sanctuary. What do you mean by sanctuary? The place which is completely forbidden to the others to enter, with a single exception of the king and the high priest. The two only African people allowed to get inside, to know the prophecy, and to get the prophecy and to make the policy of ancient Egypt. The king and the high priest, the two important personalities. And the word sanctuary, as you know in English, from sanctuary, stop. to prevent. The word itself means to prevent anyone to go inside except the king and high priest. That's why we as African people, we respect our culture. We don't go inside the sanctuary. We see it from outside. And this is the stone where they used to put a sacred boat and the sacred statue. The sacred boat and the sacred statue of the goddess Aset, of the goddess Isis, later on in Greek pronunciation. Very important. And Isis by this occasion was an international goddess. Isis was completely spread everywhere till the Greek-Roman period. Isis was a very important goddess. That's why Isis was a symbol of faithfulness. Isis never married. After the killing of her husband, the god.
Before they come back through here, I want to show them this group.
Okay, you're welcome. Show this group. Dr. Rush, I'm going to talk to you. Professor.
I know you got a lot of conversation after I showed you what I showed you back there. You haven't stopped talking since you left that area back there. But it's a natural thing. The reason why we are all here is because our fathers touched the sacred and holy place.
Yes, sir.
That's the reason why we're here. It's a natural thing. If our fathers did not touch the sacred and holy place, you would not be here. You have touched the sacred and holy place. All right? And nobody bogarts the sacred and holy place. Okay? None of that. The goddess must say it's okay to touch her holy place.
Yep.
If he tries to touch that holy place without her consent, then we take the head.
That's right.
Without it dangling.
Please.
All right. As I said before, there's the Burdette symbol up there again, representing the know thyself, going in all the temples. You see that symbol again, the sun representing going into the head, activating the pineal gland, bringing out spiritual consciousness. It had nothing to do with any white, angelical, anti-white angels. Okay? Now here is Nectanable. He's the last one we have in your book that we gave you. That book, it prepares you to learn about the Sultans, brothers and sisters, and what they did and all the great things that they did in the African Nile Valley civilization. But they could not have did these great things without that African goddess, which represents the throne of ancient Kemet that I just talked about. Like Nectanable, here we see when they came in and chiseled him out, we can see that after him, that's when the Greeks came in, and the Byzantine Romans came in, the invasions came in one after another, the Arabs came in. We also see the Ottoman Turks came in. Everybody's invading Kemet at this time. The Byzantine Roman period, the French came in, and the British and others. And from that time out, the true Kemetic African Nile Valley story has not been told. The only thing that we hear is that Egypt is the Middle East. Some civilization came from the north and built it. Everything was done to erase the African Nile Valley civilization created by African people of the Nile Valley. And this validates, like you saw in the courtyard, the Stela of Taharqa, that these are temples that Greeks built on top of existing Kemetic temples, and then, of course, Nectanable right here, the last African Sultan. Please give, by the way, your undivided attention as he will fill in some other things about this particular temple.
Very important, two deities I'm going to talk about freely. Number one, Isis, or Aset. Aset, as you know, she was the wife of the god Azar. Later on, Osiris, or Osiris. And Isis not only worshipped in Egypt, but she was outside of Egypt, nearly an international goddess, because we found a temple for her in Ariha, in Israel. And we found for her a temple in Europe, not so far from Frankfurt. We found for her a temple near Rome. Plenty of temples for the goddess Aset. That's why this goddess important. And she was a symbol for faithfulness. Because as I mentioned before, she never married after the killing of her husband. That's why she represented Egypt. That's why in the Egyptian embassy, you're going to see, when you go to the embassy, a big figure for the goddess Isis means Egypt. That's the importance of Isis and why she located here because according to the mythology, the heart of the god are buried here. Okay, before they transforming or transformation the temple from there to here after the Haidan. Ladies and gentlemen, another important god is the god Khunom, the ram-headed god, the god who controlling the Nile water. And the Nile is life. Water is life. And the god Khunom is a god who giving a recreation for us also, and the creation. That's why the importance of the god Khunom here especially very important, because he's the god who controlling the Nile water. And always the eyes of ancient Egyptians in Africa here looking to Khunom. Why? Because they look to the Nile, they look to the south. The southern direction, as I mentioned before, is the main direction. And on the right side is the Dua, means tomorrow. And everybody will go tomorrow. Everybody going to die. Everybody going to the west. Everybody on the right will be on the right hand. That's why I mentioned before the people in the King's Valley called those who are on the right position, those who are the right behaviors, the right people. In the other hand, in the east means the past, and the present time is the Nile. That's very important to know those directions. The ancient Egyptians paid a lot of attention to the south, to the god Khunom, to the source of the Nile and the religion, or the religion in general. That's the backbone of ancient Egyptian civilization. Without religion, we can't see those monuments. We can't see King's Valley. We can't see nothing. The main point for Egyptian, African civilization, religion and meditation. Of course, when we have a religion, we have meditation, we have buildings, constructions, we have a belief, we have imagination. We have to think, not to eat and sleep. Those are who do this is the Europeans, not the African people. To eat and sleep is not in our dictionary. Our dictionary is activity, action. Okay? That's why I used to comment fully about this god Khunom, the ram-headed god. That's why in the Nubian Museum we had a statue for Khunom, but now transferred, because next month we have big celebration and festival in London about African Nubian civilization, an international conference. And I had this news from the curator of the Nubian Museum yesterday night. This is the importance of the world now to your culture. Spotlight, and that's good for us, to let the other know indirect how great you are. Okay?
Before we leave, there's one point that I want to point out here. Sometimes you got to stand back from the relief to see everything. Look at the figure right there, giving the feather of Ma'at to the cannibal. See the feather of Ma'at? Yeah. When is Ma'at? Tell me.
Truth, justice,
and righteousness. So
balance.
Truth, justice, and righteousness to do what? To kill the enemy. That's right. See right there?
Yes.
Feather of Ma'at, the truth, justice, and righteousness to kill the enemies of ancient Kemet, as you see the cannibal, okay, slaying the enemy with the mallet in his hand. So that's justice. That's righteousness.
That's right.
To get rid of the enemy who has invaded the land. That's like someone burglarizing your house, and then you don't do anything about it. Okay? So that's justice.
What about the larger figure? What is she holding?
Huh?
The larger figure? I
larger
don't know if
figure?
that's a set holding like something.
That's a set.
Yeah, what's
That's
she
a set
holding?
holding Haru. See the falcon at the top of it? And then you see that the king holding the feather of Ma'at to make sure the cannibal gives justice to the enemies that he's slaying with the mallet that he's smashing, right here. And look at the cow running with the legs. See the cow with the arms up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the cow. The cow is right there showing the spirit. Look, and what does the spirit of the cow has in his hands?
Ma'at.
Look down at the bottom. Ma'at. So this is justice for the king to defeat the enemy with the mallet that you see right there. That's justice. So if someone invades your house and comes in, you have the right. It's justice for you to shoot them. They're in your house.
Shoot them in the house, not outside the house.
They on the porch trying to come in. They're going to get it too, right? Because, you know, that's what the problem with Kemet. They was already on the porch trying to get in. You know, that's what the Nauten said. Well, they just on the porch. That's all. Nauten said they on the porch. And then it came to him. But they messing with the locks, like Nauten. They still on the porch. By the time the door was open, all the invasion was in. So I'm not waiting for them to come in. I'm catching them at the porch.
Catch them at the steps.
That's why I got a shot. You can see concepts that were taken and ended up in the Western world, but on this relief you can see 3 of them. Again, I'll point out this line here, how this temple was under the sand or under the water. And here we have Tahuti. Tahuti, the one out of divine wisdom and intelligence. Tahuti is the one that gave us the Pur and Haru. Tahuti is the one that gave us writing, as it goes back to. Tahuti is the one that gave us the mystery system or the Shishada system. Tahuti, who the Greeks call Mercurius Trismegistus, also called Hermes, all right, and also called Thought. As you see him writing down the deeds. Now, this is where Western philosophical thought took from Hermes, took from Tahuti and called it philosophy. I call it philosophy, not philosophy, from Tahuti, okay? And then it ends up into Hermetic writings. Right here we have Khnum, who is the divine nectar of this area right here, and his wife is Anuket, and then the child is Setet. So here you have a triad here, only the difference, the daughter, not the son. Again, representing the matrilineal line. But he's on the throne fashioning man and woman out of a potter's wheel. You find that in Jeremiah, how Jehovah God fashions one out of a potter's wheel. Or how we see Jehovah God making man out of the what? Clay of earth. So here we see a Judeo-Christian concept coming out of Khnum, fashioning on the potter's wheel. So we have philosophical Western thought with the philosophy of the Greeks. We have the Judeo-Christianity, Judeo concept that took from Khnum, fashioning man on the potter's wheel. And then, the big one. Here we see the Madonna and Child. Look how her face is chiseled out. The Theodosius and Justinian in the 6th century AD chiseled her out because this is the prototype of the Madonna and Child right here. Huh? I'm going back and forth so both sides can see it. So here we see they took from her to make up the Florentine Italian that we generally see the white female represented as the Madonna and Child. So we look at that as being the only Madonna and Child in virgin birth when the story was copied from here. As Badawi said, she was worshipped all over Europe, known as the Herculaneum worship of the goddess of Set. Until when the Byzantine Romans, like Theodosius and Justinian in the 4th and 6th century AD, realized we're taking this story. And we don't want anybody else to know about where we got it from. That's where they started to chisel her out, as you see right here. This is what makes the other one more sacred than this one, when this one predates the other one by thousands of years. And it's on the books in stone. As we see her with her crown and her chair on top of her head right here. She is the original Theotokos, or Mother of God, or Theotokos Matnechi. She is Mother Nature. Even when that freak of nature hurricane came through Southern California, and they said, a Hurricane Isis hit Southern California. That's what she was called, Theotokos, Mother of God. We have others back there?
Yes.
We'll let you take the pictures and let others come in and
You can see the stars. The same idea repeated. Seba. Seba means the gate, and that's the gate to the temple. And the gate to heaven, the gate to meditation, the gate to think about the spiritual life, and the religion. You're going to concentrate in the worship you do. We call it now meditation. To meditate. And the gate is the way to the temple, the way to the light, the way to the light. As the stars is the way to the light at dawn. The special star appears at dawn before sunrise. That's the beginning of the light, beginning of the morning, beginning of the birth of Ra. When birth of Ra, when sun god rise again in the morning. Sipa, S-B-A. And as I commented 2 days ago saying, Sipa also called teacher, because teacher is a gate to knowledge. It's the way to knowledge. You can't be a knowledgeable one until you listen to the professor, until you listen to Frau Doctor, until you read your books, until you hear, until you see what's in the TV and so on. That's the way to knowledge. The teacher is the way to knowledge. Even in your childhood, without elementary education, you know nothing. You have to get elementary education. Thank you. Sons in my temple, temple of Mandisi, the great Nubian god who worshipped here in this area thousands of years ago. And the design of the temple, in spite of it's done by Nubian family, by Nubian people here in the Greek-Roman period, but you can see the design of the temple is completely as we used to see. Main entrance, open courtyard, then second open courtyard, then we have the colonnade hall and the Holy of Holies. And the columns here mixed floral capitals, like we are accustomed to see in all the columns in that period. Very important to see the flanked sun. And the flanked sun always referring to the victory of Heru, the victory of Horus over evil. Always remembering you, reminding you to know that always good win in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, very, very important to see the relief in the front of you of the king himself, in the front of the god Huru and the god Ibis making libation in the presence of the god Horus. Why? To ascend the throne of Egypt, you have to be pured and purified. You have to clean your heart and clean your body. How you clean your heart and how you clean your body? You clean your body by libation like this. Pure water, sacred water, holy water. Okay? Washing the body before ascending the throne and before sitting in the throne of Egypt. Because the throne of Egypt is holy, it's sacred. Not anyone sit there. Now one of the Quakers or others sit there. Only the sons, only the African people, only the Egyptians.
Yes.
That's why before sitting, you have to make libation. Clean the body. Okay, we know how to clean the body, how to clean the heart. Knowledge, information, meditation. You have to meditate. While you are here, you have to think about how your forefathers used to worship.
Yes.
How they used to bending in respect to their God. Knowledge. Because knowledge is light. Knowledge is light. And light going to the light. Going to the statue. Going to the God. This is how you clean your heart. By firm belief in Mandisi. By cleaning the heart, by cleaning the washing the body, you are valuable, you are suitable, you are okay to ascend the throne of Egypt. Unless you do that, you can't ascend the throne of Egypt. And the word ascend means sitting the throne and ascend to heaven. Link to heaven. Link, ascend. This word in English means to link to heaven and even to ascend the throne. Because when you sit in the throne, it means you're going to link to heaven. You are a God. You are a human being, but you are a God inside. You are sacred. That's why the king completely worshipped, completely venerated, nearly like a real God. More veneration to the king, more respect to the king, that nearly he's exactly like a God. That's your civilization and your mentality in ancient times. We have to figure it out, you, just to know how your forefathers in the past used to worship, used to adore, and used to meditate.
Yes.
The meditations. As soon as you enter here, you are in meditation. As soon as you come here, you are in meditation. You are in a holy place. Bet her ta, heaven on earth. That's what the temple means. Her, bet her ta, heaven on earth. And called Ber Netter, the house of the God. Even nowadays, we call it for Mecca in Saudi Arabia for Muslims. Ber Netter, the house of the God. In Arabic, Bayt Allah al-Haram. Even in Jerusalem, the holy place, people go to make a pilgrim to there. That's the story of the Holy Land. But originally, the idea taken from here. And even the gate, I always repeating this. This gate called Siba means adore. Adore to what? To meditation. Adore to think fully about the God you're going to worship. And I repeating again, the word teacher is Siba in Madunitic because it's a gate to knowledge. So knowledge is very important. Okay? Doctor, like to add some additions or go outside?
Yeah. Clearly on this temple, going up on the left and the right. Here in Ta-Nehisi, or the land of Nubia, the story is told that Asar had another brother named Mendelusi. So here you got another story that's part of the whole Neterus, or divine entities of Mendelusi, although many of the European Egyptologists do not mention Mendelusi as being an older brother of Asar. I find that interesting because we get the same kind of story that Jesus has an older brother. Okay. James, okay? James the Lesser, they call him, is that right? Okay, Bible folks? That's right. Just joking. Bible scholars? That's right.
Bible scholars.
Okay, Bible scholars, all right. Whatever fits best. But anyway, again, the same story, Mendelusi, Asar, this is Asar's older brother. And why is it the older brother in Ta-Nehisi? Because this is the land of the beginning, coming up out of Cush. Now, coming over here, that's Greek writing right there. But the writing that you see right here is the Meroitic writing. They have not deciphered the Meroitic writing yet, as of yet. We know the decipherment of some of the Medunetia, not all of them, by Champollion and Thomas Young. As I said, there's an esoteric and exoteric interpretation. But Meroe was the kingdom that came up after the fall of Napata, the great Nubian capital of the 25th dynasty. But with Meroitic writings is like a cursive type of writing or heretic type of writing of ancient Kemet, but it has not been deciphered at all. But here we have a form of Mendelusi, again associated with the goddess Aset. This is a Ta-Nehisian goddess, a Ta-Nehisian Neter or god, coming up out of this period. Now, some of us, we talked about the Pa'ah. He's holding the Wascepter. That's the symbol for Kemet, showing his power and his authority, and also a power for Waset. Okay? Over here is By the way, talked about the baptism. It's a sacred office. But above his head, this is where the Hebrews get the term Pharaoh. Pharaoh came from Perah. Okay, that literally means great house. As you see above their head up there. And the Shanu. Great house.
Please. The masters of ancient world, come on please. The owner of civilization, come on please.
That's right.
I mean what I say. So let others hear.
Oh, we know it, bro.
Speak, brother.
Yeah, I let the others know.
Yes, sir.
Look here, we have two obelisks. The right one, that's in the Place de la Concorde in Paris. To decorate one of the most important squares in Paris. If it is not good, if it is false, we will not take it. We will not take it. And if we ask it to get that back, they say no. And they say, no African civilization. How it could be? And the one in Paris, identical to this one. Same like that one. And what's written here? Is written here, I am وسر مع تريس كتبن ري رامسو مري أمون رامسو مري أمون. I built this obelisk to honor the god Amun-Re. Me, Ramses II, the one who defeated all nations. Look how proud himself. Look how powerful he was. That's why we ask, may the spirit of Western Ma'atri, September, Ramis, Maria Amun will be on us, upon us. And here on the left side, we have the battlefield against the Hittites, the Gadish battlefield. This relief, this representation, repeated several times. And the facade of Luxor temple here, in Abydos, in Ramesseum, on the other side, in the temple of Ramesso, in Abu Simbel. This relief repeated several times. The repeat of the victory of Ramses the Great over the Hittites. On the right side, he making a military council with his generals and princes for the battlefield against the Hittites. And look at the facade, look at the pylon. We have two openings in the pylon on each side to fix up the flags and decorations. We have two standing statues, one broken and one standing, and two sitting massive colossi representing Ramses the Great, sitting, wearing a double crown for Upper and Lower Egypt. Each statue of those, one single piece of granite brought from Aswan quarries. You can imagine the efforts done for transferring such two heavy colossi from Aswan quarries to here. When in 1200 before Christ, the French, when they took this obelisk to the Place de la Concorde, happened like that. In 1824, they start to take the obelisk from here and erect it in the Place de la Concorde in 1834, around 10 years to erect the obelisk. Hatshepsut left for us a text in hieroglyphics saying that Hatshepsut cut two obelisks from Aswan quarries. Two obelisks. Two, not one. Two. Cut, transferred, and erected within how many years? 10 years? 7 months. 7 months. That's the ancient Egyptian technology in ancient times. We have to be proud of this great civilization. Then we have the main entrance of Luxor temple, and this entrance, as you can see, changed a little bit to the east because the existence of the 3 shrines inside done before the whole temple there. And in order Ramses II to add this part, he had to move the design, change the design to the left side, to the eastern side. You're going to feel that when you go inside. Come on and see that inside. Look here to the sons of Ramses II, to the sons of Western Mahatreset. All those the boys, the boy princes of the King Ramses II, come here to celebrate, carrying in their hands the flowers, bouquet of flowers, lotus and papyrus. See the lotus? Even the bloom here. We're going to comment fully about the bloom. Why the bloom? Later on. And that's the most ancient design, most ancient plan man ever known. Temple of Waset, the facade of Luxor Temple. The facade here. We have two obelisks, one here. See the obelisk here? And another one here. And two sitting statues here. And two standing statues here. And that's the pylon. And those up, the flags.
Yeah.
The flags were here.
Yes.
In the openings. The flags. Very important. This is make you to be proud of yourself. The most ancient design and plan man ever known, done by you.
That's right.
In the back. Sorry because the place is tight, but very important to relieve.
Sorry.
That's just how we made it.
I'm here handing the whole beef. And the belly dancers here. African belly dancers. Yeah. You see here the baby pigeons, the grapes, Indian apples, figs and dates, all those fruits for the celebrations of Obit here in Luxor, in Waset. Big kinds of, or different kinds of fruits. Come to the right. Please, that's here the Nile water. And you can see in the top the boat and the people rowing, going upstream from Karnak to Luxor, from Wirwiru to Waset, and from the bank of the Nile, they are pulling the boat by rope. You see the rope here in the hand. Here, you can see the musicians, and you can see the rope very clear. From the bank of the Nile, pulling the boat by rope. Here is a drum, the African drum. Again, the African drum playing music. And here, dancing stick dance. Look at the features. Look at the features here. Pure African features.
That's right.
Egyptians are absolutely Africans.
That's right.
Those who separated here with the key rings. Earrings. Earrings. You see the earrings here? And look at the features. Absolutely African. Look at that who play music using the drum. Absolutely Africans. So Egypt is a part from Africa. Egypt is in Africa. Egypt not in China. Egypt not in India. But in the northeastern part of Africa. Very important. Very important to know. I don't say my passion. I say the proofs to let you see by your eyes. You see the features here, no doubt. Absolutely African. African people. Sometimes you can see white people in Africa. Those because of the invaders.
That's right.
Those because of the crackers.
That's right.
Yeah. There we go.
The crackers who come here and talk.
Yeah.
The god of the moon. KHNSOU. Konso. The god of the moon. So you are tested twice. Day and night.
Day and night.
Day and night. That's why you have to be proud. You are choice people.
Oh yeah.
You are the children of the God, not the others. You are. You are chosen by the God. You are blessed by the God. You are the holy people, not the others. The others like to get out the golden apple from our hands, our civilization, but in vain. In vain. We are awoken. We are learning. We have now Dr. Ashraf Kwezi to tell us the truth of the history. No more ignorance in African culture. We have to know our culture. We have to know our history. Few years we found here a big treasure, just right here. 22 royal statues, now in the museum. Come inside. Third, burning innocence. What the innocence means in hieroglyphics. Innocence, sin, nature, censure. S here called the causative S, and nature is a God, causing the God to come, causing the God to come, asking the God to come. The God come, the good spirits come only through good perfume, good smelling, not the bad smelling. The bad smelling also for evil, for such the evil God. And here censure in ritu, deed and means making or giving the innocence for the God forever. And you can see here Amun Re having the two plumes of his head. Amun Re, to whom the temple devoted and constructed, the God of invisibility, one who can see and never be seen. And here, just a minute please, you can see the cartouche of Western Ma'at Re, Septebin Re, Ramisu, having two plumes of the cartouche, two plumes, two feathers. And we know that the feather always referring to Ma'at. Ma'at means justice. And now we know no justice, no peace. Bravo.
Right.
No justice, no peace. This is known by you in the beginning. That's why sometimes you can see in the top of the cartouche of the king, in the top of the chinu of the king, the two plumes. Means he loved justice. He liked justice. Justice sometimes above his head, not under his feet, and the people do nowadays. Not, you have to learn from African people that justice always in the top of the head of the king, not under his feet. If it is under his feet, so many problems, so many accidents, so many protesting. But when is justice, no problems. But when is no justice, no peace. This is known by you at the beginning. That's why I connected that together. I connected the past of African civilization here and the modern history we have it now. The reality we have it now in the world. Justice is very important to everybody. And everywhere. Justice. Even between you and your wife. You and your friends. You have to be justful. You have to be fair. Come inside.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to ask a question. Did you feel yourself getting higher in this temple as you were walking through?
Yes.
Meaning what?
Going to the Ankh Manu.
Ankh Manu. Where's the Ankh Manu?
In the back.
Back.
All the way back in the temple. That is the Holies of Holies, but the African Holies of Holies, Ankh Manu, was corrupted and rebuilt by Alexander the Barbarian. So that is the Holies of Holies that he built. That is not our ancestors' Holies of Holies. And we'll talk about Alexander when he came in and put himself on his side when I showed you he was giving praise to Amun. But these faces, these are the faces, the white Romans who painted their faces over top of Amenhotep III. That was not as clear as it is now. They repainted that. Can you see it at the top? One brother used to have a big light. We could go right up there, but we don't have any large lights.
There's a light.
But look at the plaster. I want you to see the plaster. Can you see the plaster? This is Amenhotep III who's been covered up of the 18th dynasty by the Roman Byzantines who came hundreds of years later. Can you see their Roman faces up there?
Yes.
Oh wait, you're shadowing. You're shadowing so you can see it. See it up there? Somebody got a light now. You can see it up there, can't you?
Yeah.
You saw it clearly when the lecture. So now we see although they plastered this 2,000 years ago, they recently repainted it to make those white Byzantine Roman faces come out even clearer than what they are, covering up Amenhotep III. Now we're going to go in the back to see a virgin birth room. Yes, a virgin birth room. How clearly blank they are. Look at the Wascepter, Ankh, Lord of authority of power, life. See the symbol right there? That Wascepter is the symbol for Waset. You see the Ankh got his arms out holding the Wascepter.
Ladies and gentlemen, here you can see the king in the middle, the god Horus and the god Ibis, making libation and purification to purify the king. And here we have the flags. The flags for those nomes who participated in festivals here. Ladies and gentlemen, here you see the king introducing the sword to the king to kill the enemy of Egypt and give him the symbol of Jubilee. The symbol of Jubilee. Million of years. You see the frog here. The frog in our number is 100,000. 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100 million of years given to the king. And here you can see Cleopatra. But not Cleopatra the one we have. Cleopatra the fourth and Cleopatra the fifth. الرابعة والخامسة. Cleopatra the fourth and Cleopatra the fifth. And here the coronation. Coronation. The coronation here. One lady from Lower Egypt, one lady from Upper Egypt, and Lower Egypt putting the double crown on the top of the head of the king. And before putting the crown, they used to make a libation. Purification. Here. What kind of purification? What kind of libation? Anchor was it? Life and stability. Life and stability. Life and stability. Coming from the vase. Because that's water. What symbol of water is? Water is life. Water is life. So instead of having the water, they have the symbol of water.
What is stability? So the life is the
The stability is this one.
My bad. It's coming back.
This one underneath.
Yeah, what is that? What's the name of it?
What's it? What's it? Means power, means stability. Yeah. That's number 22. Day number 22. Day number 23. Day number 24. Day number 25. Day number 26. Day number 27. Day number 28. That's 29. That's here 30. The end, the last. Then start the first day in the season of plantation and the month number 3. The first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth, the sixth, 7th, 8th, and so on. So this calendar completely used for timing the agriculture, and in the same time for timing the festivals and for the days of the god Sobek and the god Horus here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we go together now.
New books, new facts, new hooks, new tracks, new tools, new gas. You fools should move back. Original, boom bap, mystery school rap. Within the Pythagorean harmonics crowds, I move that. Who's that? The one that rocks this mic and 1,000 others. For further evidence, you can check this very album cover. I'm about to smother the ignorance out you motherfuckers. You sleeping on this teaching? Let me get you out them covers. No time for sleeping, no joking. Stay awoken. African drums still beat when the stick's broken. I'm floating, mind open, chakras glowing. I've realized the all-seeing being is all-knowing. Heart clean, no interruption, chi flowing. From heaven we came from, so to heaven we going. We the first agriculturists, we reap what we sowing. Know who you are, not just what the TV's showing. I came to find you. We're the gods. I came to remind you. We're the gods. Don't let them blind you. We're the gods. The truth is inside you. We're the gods. Grow up, feed the needy, avoid the greedy. No one but us look like Akhenaten and Nefertiti. Not the painted bust of Nefertiti, but the Nefertiti on the temple wall seen by all in ancient graffiti. Heed me, 33 years ago, God freed me. Then she said she need me to spit the truth for her weekly, freely. Easy, open mics, now don't tease me. My face gets sweaty, palms get all greasy. I start flashing shit, all you see is feces. Written shit, spitting shit, KRS a different species. This boy beastie, he's slow and he's low. That is the tempo, when you know, rappers come and go, always claim they run the show, till they feel that thunder blow, straight from the mother flow, gutter flow, they spit bullshit, I spit the other flow, but bullshit's a fertilizer, maybe to help these brothers grow, I don't know. I came to find you, we're the gods. I came to remind you, we're the gods. Don't let them blind you, we're the gods. The truth is inside you, we're the gods. Queen Mother, wake up. King Father, wake up. You sleeping on this teaching? It's you I gotta shake up. Wake 'em up. We the return of the Christ. Christ is not a man, it's a symbol of a community brought back to life. They got you looking for a red or white or blue savior, but here comes the black savior, Krishna, cat blazer. Tongue sharp like that razor, original rap flavor. I speak in general terms cause I'm that major. Still got the pager privately, don't lie to me. God is the Motorola mobilizing inside of me. My sheep know my voice and stay choice and they flock to me. When knowledge reigns supreme, ignorance you not gonna see. Unite with me, and I'll unite with you. Don't fight with me, and I won't fight with you. Establish law, that's what we gotta do. The future's depending on us, maybe this is not for you. I came to find you, we're the